Hi everyone, it's John Gualtieri here with this week's PowerShot. We're continuing our series on price reductions simply because I'm seeing a lot of price reductions nationally in various markets. There's some exceptions, but by and large, we're looking at 25 on the low end to 60% of all listings are seeing price reductions, and we need to sharpen those skills. We need to bring them out of the bucket because we haven't had to use them in a while. And get them nice and sharp and ready to roll. And today I want to talk about finding out what's behind the curtain. I mentioned this on a previous PowerShot. It may have been a year or more ago. And that is, before we go into a substantive dialogue with sellers about a price reduction, we need to know three things. Number one is, has anything changed with their plans? Number two, has anything changed with their motivation? Number three is, why do they believe their home didn't sell? Then and only then, when we get the answers to those questions, should we move on to a dialogue about reducing the price. And I'm using the word reducing the price. We want to use the word adjusting the price. At any rate, has anything changed with your situation? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you first hired me to do this job, it was because you were going to be moving to Arizona to be with your grandchildren and your family. Has anything changed there? Plans change. Number two, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you first hired me to do this job, you seemed reasonably motivated to get to Arizona. Has anything changed with that? Motivation, guys, waxes and wanes. And number three is, this is where we've got to be prepared to take a hit. If Mr. and Mrs. Seller, could you share with me why you believe your property hasn't sold yet? I've had people say all sorts of things. I've had people say it needs a price reduction. Other people say, you tell me. Other people will say, well, John, you're not doing your job, and on it goes, right? Be prepared for anything. But until and unless you know what's behind that curtain, you have no business going into a dialogue about adjusting the price. Notice I said adjusting and not reducing. So this week's PowerShot takeaway is simply this: find out what's behind that curtain. Fools run where an angel fears to follow. So if you know anyone who might benefit from this week's PowerShot, please pass it on. And in the meantime, get out there, chop wood, carry water, and do it like you mean it. God bless.